I look at the world through a lens of comedy, right? So my natural reaction is always, no matter when something happens and I can't even help it, it's why is that funny?
I love the idea of reframing a negative situation into a positive one.
It's so inspired that other people want to support and work with that energy.
Rise and shine, it's Espresso time. Good morning, Believe Nation, it's Evan. My one word is believe, and I believe in you. I believe you have an amazing gift inside you that I want to see explode out onto the world. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee and sip on today's message. Always be joyous. Over to you, Will Smith.
I wake up every morning. Espresso keep me going. I wake up every morning.
I look at the world through a lens of comedy, right? So my natural reaction is always, no matter when something happens and I can't even help it, it's why is that funny? You know, so even at a funeral, I can't help but think why that's funny, you know? So it's extremely helpful for me just psychologically that no matter what's going on, I can't keep my mind from finding jokes. You know, so it's a beautiful way to stay joyous and positive.
As crazy it might seem to be at a funeral and think about how is a situation funny or comical, I love the idea of reframing a negative situation into a positive one. It can really serve you. It reminds me of what Tony Robbins said of you look at the worst thing that's ever happened to your life and ask yourself, how can this worst thing ever be the best thing ever? How do you reframe it so that the most negative situation ever in your life becomes your biggest strength, becomes your mission, helps you follow something that then has a bigger impact? I really think that for people who get through a negative situation, it makes them a lot stronger just as a human being. And quite often the mission that we have in our lives, the things that we want to contribute and give back, is so that other people don't have to face the same consequences, the same suffering that we faced. So for me, I love helping entrepreneurs. I love it. It fuels me. It drives me. What's the big reason for it? Well, it's because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur that I want to make it easier for other people who are like me. And if you're looking for your mission, just go back to previous pain that you've dealt with and how you've gotten through it. Quite often what you want to do is then make it easier for people to not have to suffer through the same pain. And so the way that Will Smith deals with it is by comedy, is by laughing, is by trying to be joyous. That's how he reframes situations to make it a positive one, to make it more serving to him. You could do that for yourself. Figure out what you stand for, figure out what your one word is, figure out what's at the core of you, figure out what your mission is. And then any negative situation that happens, you can reframe it to one that's empowering for you, the one that serves you, the ones that builds you up and can inspire others around you as well. You can even practice this right now. Think about something that's negative that's happened in the past week for you. Maybe it happened today. Maybe there's something that really drove you up the wall today that got you really negative, really upset, really unhappy, or something that happened yesterday or the day before. Usually we don't have to go so far back. If you're looking a year back to something negative that happened to you, you're living a pretty joyous life. But take something negative that happened recently and just think, how can I reframe this? What do I stand for? What's one of my most important core values? And how can I bring that to the situation so that it inspires me and empowers me? And right now, as you're doing it, as you're building the muscle, you won't do it in the moment. You'll be negative, you'll embrace it, you'll feel all the negative feelings, and maybe the next day, you'll be able to be more positive about it, find the way through. Your goal is to get that distance tighter so that it's not the next day, it's 3 hours later, and then it's 2 hours later, and then it's 1 hour later, and then 20 minutes. And then eventually you get to the point where it's almost instantaneous, where you've trained yourself so much that when a negative thought comes into your head, when a negative experience is happening around you, that you're reframing it to serve you, to be empowering, so that the next time you're at a funeral, you're laughing your way through it, or you're finding your positive way to really deal with negative situations. Now I have a special bonus clip for you, but before getting to that, I have a question of the day for you, which is, how do you reframe negative situations, or how would you like to going forward? Leave it in the comments below. I'm really curious to see what you have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself and whatever your one word is. I'll see you again tomorrow morning for another shot of espresso, and enjoy the bonus.
I wake up every morning. Espresso keep me going.
As I commit to happiness fully, exactly what I need is coming towards me because I become a magnet. I become an energy field that is so magnetizing, that is so excited, that's so inspired, that other people want to support and work with that energy. And so when we dwell in the energy of joy and happiness, we become a magnet for that which we desire. So my hope for you all is to start to think about the things that you want to succeed in, whether it's succeeding in romantic relationships or succeeding in your career or succeeding in your health goals, and make a commitment today to bring more joy to that area of your life, rather than seeing it as a struggle, rather than pushing forward with all this angst and negativity and neediness and control. Just bring joy to it. Your successes will come when you commit to joy, when you commit to happiness. So find more joy in that physical exercise. I've been going to Soul Cycle. I absolutely love it. It's so joyful for me, and that's helping me raise my butt, because that was one of my goals and success. And then we have these moments where we want to really bring joy into our career. Well, if you're having a hard time in the office, just find ways to have more fun. And as we start to elevate that presence of joy, we will begin to magnetize the successes in our life. And so take this very seriously, bring this practice into your day-to-day experiences, and make joy and happiness your number one priority, and recognize how your successes will be brought to you in a form far greater than you could ever imagine when your primary focus is happiness.
One entry point is bringing joy back into our everyday lives. Because so many of us, and I speak as a complete culprit, as like a certifiable type A workaholic-driven personality, who basically felt my job was about getting it all done, getting it done in time, getting it accomplished, and joy, who has time for joy? And now I feel that not at all, that it's like, when I'm not joyful, I look at what happened. I don't mean joyful like there are no challenges, problems, etc. I mean like when I'm not like, hey, this is great, I'm blessed, I'm doing something I love, I'm grateful. When I don't have that feeling, I know I'm off. I need to course correct. So joy, kind of really checking in and seeing, how am I doing? You don't even have to check in, because you know when you are in the flow, in the joy, and when you're not.
People who have great ambitions, I guess all of us, to be, design a spaceship or to become a president or a senator, and there's so much disappointment. So few people can ever really achieve what their dreams are. I'm sometimes suspicious of these great goals that we have in mind for ourselves, because we can get tripped up and become disappointed and cynical and depressed about it all. Few of us can design spaceships or become presidents or become Steven Spielberg. It may be better to get outside of ourselves and confront with joy and pleasure and a sense of opportunity every little simple task we're given, rather than to try to do the big task, rather than to try to shoot Gone with the Wind, but do a postcard and then grow from there, even though our eye is on the Gone with the Wind, maybe where it shouldn't be. Maybe that should be something that is a result of a path that leads to a goal.
Raise your standard.
Apple, at the core, its core value is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better.
Not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me.
I don't ever give up. I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.